Hey traders, in this video I'm going to be covering the Dow Jones and why it's almost at its target right now. Really excited for that. Also give you a bit of a gold mining stocks update. I'm so excited for the gold mining stocks. I think there's so much opportunity there. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to then start to give you some education based on how to understand a false breakout, and when you do get a false breakout, what's likely to happen next after that. And I'm going to be talking about Tesla, also be talking about JP Morgan and how they've happened in the last sort of 6 months, and how that's helped me get into some really awesome profitable trades. And I'm going to share that chart reading technique with you, or that trading technique with you. I'm also going to share another trading technique with you called the channel projected target, because that's actually something that's actually happened recently on Amazon, and it's happened on Goldman Sachs recently, and so on and so forth. But I'll be focused on Amazon just to help you and teach you that when you see this sort of pattern in the markets, you can actually use a projection tool to see where the market's likely to go. So you're going to absolutely love that. I'm also going to talk to you about some things that is really beneficial to your trading when it comes to your trading, and what this is all about is why you don't need to know what's going to happen the next day for you to make money with trading. And one thing that's going to stop you from making trading, one thing that's helped me do really well in trading, and one thing that I see with my private clients right now, I'm going to share with you why you don't need to know when you get into a trade, why you don't need to know what's going to happen the next day or the next bar for you to make money overall, and so much more in this trading here. So that's what I'm talking about here, guys. Traders, I'm running a flash sale right now to my brand new trading course. You're going to learn chart reading techniques, trading systems, and so much more just for $7. Very first link in the description. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders. So let's get straight into the market update today. One thing that I can see, one thing that's happening right now with the Dow Jones is that if you've been following me now for the last few months, you would know that I have had a target now of 29.5, and I've been saying that I believe that the Dow Jones is on its way up there. If you see my last few videos, or ever since the late last year, I've been saying that if we do break, we're likely to see this move happening here, and it's really exciting to see that the Dow Jones is almost at that 29,000. It's probably going to get to around 30,000 there. So really exciting. Don't be trying to pick the top with this stock market here right now, because it is on a steaming move to the upside, and it's not like a vertical move, it's slowly going up. So this actually probably has a lot more upside to come out of it, just like the S&P did. The S&P actually got to its target and then blew straight through it. The Nasdaq also got to its projected target, and then it's just, that thing's just gone absolutely just nuts right now. Look at that thing. So lots and lots there. Don't be trying to pick the top right now, because we may get some sort of a pullback right now out of the stock market, but the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq and stuff like that, you don't want to be trying to step in front of this train, because this actually could be part of a blow off top for the last final top, which I think it is. And if that's the case, you can see what happens, right, with Bitcoin and these other, like look at Apple right now, right? When these things start to move, there's no rational reason behind it. These things can start to move really rapidly, and it can just keep going up more than you think. So do not try to be jumping in front of a train that you think, oh, it's gonna pull back soon, or I'm gonna pick a top soon. Please don't do that. Okay, wait for good trading opportunities. I also want to give you a quick update based on the GDX and the GDXJ. Something that I've been talking about for the last few weeks, but I want to give you a bit of an update on this one here. The one thing I'm really liking about this GDX, let me actually just bring up this chart here, just a blank chart, okay? When you are looking at the charts, by the way, traders, I strongly recommend you doing something like this here, where you have the candlesticks here, okay? But see how I've just got a white background? There is no gray horizontal lines. There's no writing through here. Because we're trying to read what the market is telling us. The market is the most important thing that's going to give you the edge, and it's not a technique, or it's not a indicator or anything like that. Okay, so that's one of the most important things there, because the market, the better you can read the chart, the better trader you will be. And if you're part of my private client group, you know exactly what I'm talking about there, and the stuff that I'll be talking about in this video as well too, to help you out. So we can see what's happening through there. But what's the one thing I am noticing is that we're still squeezing up into this overall sort of triangle pattern through here. And if I just bring this out through to here, And let me just bring this up through to here. You can also see that this is pretty much what's going on right now with this here right now. So we do actually have a bit of a short-term trend line as well too, coming up through to here to there, as you can see. So we are sort of squeezing up through that triangle pattern, but this is getting really exciting. We've got this major resistance around this level through here, and as you can see, right, it's squeezing up and squeezing up and squeezing up. Now if we do get a break, then I see this thing going for a very nice move. Let me do this here. A very nice move to around that $50 to $52 mark. So I'm getting really excited, but I need to see a good setup. I need to see a good breakout with some volume, and it's all along like Donkey Kong with that. So that's one thing I'm really excited about when it comes to that. Now let me go into, instead of market update mode, let me go into teaching mode and teach you some awesome trading techniques to help you with your trading. Now talk about false breakouts. False breakouts are a phenomenal thing once you know what to look for and how to identify it. Now, what happens when it comes to false breakouts? Let me just see. A lot of times what the market will do, okay, is the market will either do two things. One, it'll make a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then suddenly what will happen is, let me do that again. Okay, so it'll make a, I'll get it right, let's go. All right, so it'll come down, it'll make a lower low, it'll be in a downtrend, but then suddenly what will happen, it'll break down, it'll break past this low through here, but it'll just go sideways for a bit, and then it'll break back up, right? This is exactly what happened with Bitcoin recently. It's exactly what happened with silver and a whole bunch of other markets, right? This here is potentially the end of this downward trend, and now potentially a reversal. The market likes to do that. It likes to flush down past the support level, do nothing, break back up, and then continue up from there. Or what can happen is the market is just going sideways for a while, then it breaks down, then it does nothing, then it breaks back up. If this happened, it's a very powerful move to see a move to the upside. And I'm going to share with you exactly what the false breakout looks like and where it's likely to go to on target number 1 and target number 2. Now, let's actually go through this. And I'll talk about what was it? Tesla. Tesla was the first one here. Okay, so if I go to Tesla here, and let me bring up this weekly chart here because I want to share this with you to share. All right, let me go to the daily chart. Let me bring up some trend lines through here. All right, did I delete them off the screen? I think I did, yeah. All right. So as you can see, right, look at this back here. Notice how we were in one big massive sort of triangle pattern through here, right? One big massive sort of channel through here. See that through there? Right, so in this one big massive channel. Then notice what happened through here, right? Notice how exactly what I was saying before, right? What happened is that we got a bit of a breakout, and then it went sideways, right? It didn't do much. We didn't get a continuation move. And then what happened? We broke back up. So when the breaking back up happens, when you get this breaking back above the support level, right? Because remember, this support level is supposed to become resistance, right? And it did for a little bit here, and was supposed to continue down. Due to the fact that it didn't continue down, then it broke back up, that tells me two things. One, we're now likely to see a move to the upside. Okay, a move to the upside to at least the top of the channel. And then secondly, we have a projection move up. Now, what is that projected move up? We measure from the high of the channel down to the low of the channel. We project that up. And if you guys know, I've always had what? I've always had a $500 target. And look at that through there. So once again, there is three things that's going on through here. Firstly, how to identify a false breakout. And then secondly, where's it likely to go after the false breakout is confirmed. And this is such a powerful thing here, right? So once again, we broke below support. We're supposed to continue down from there, right? Like that. But it didn't, did it? We started to do this here, and then we broke back above. When we started to do that, it tells me that one, we're now likely to, very high probability, we're now likely to run to the top of the channel. If we do get a pullback and then break that channel, then the next target is measure from the high to low, project that up, and that's where it goes to, right? Let me now go to, say, JP Morgan here for a minute. Look at JP Morgan. JP Morgan did the exact same thing as well too, right? Look at this here. So we had the top, let me actually go to the weekly chart here. Let's go back to the daily chart. So what do we have here with JP Morgan, right? We had this overall channel through here. Let me just bring that up through there. because that was the top of the channel, right? Actually more through there, right? So we had this sort of sideways movement. Look what happened here. Sideways movement. Then we actually broke down. See how this is exactly like Tesla, right? Look at this here. Then it broke back above. Guess what? It ran to the top of the channel, went sideways for a bit. Then when we started to break up and out, guess what? Measure from the high of the channel down to the low of the channel, project that up, and that's where the projection is going to be. Now it's not where the exact high is going to be. You can't do that, but where the market's likely to run to. And if you guys know, like late last year, late last year, I was calling for a move in JP Morgan. I had a 130 target. I didn't know it was going to continue up like it is right now. But all this here, right? All this is not picking tops, picking bottoms. It's saying, okay, this is now happening with the market. Where's it likely to go because of what's happening right now? Okay, successful traders respond to what the market is doing. Unprofessional traders try to predict what the market is going to do. So when the market starts to give you a false breakout, where's it likely to go to? If we have a channel through here and we start to see a pattern, the pattern says, okay, the pattern's happened. Then we'll respond to that pattern because the pattern's telling us we're now likely to go here. Make sense? So that's what we see through there. And this whole channel here, that's part of the next thing, right? Which is the channel projected target. I talked about it at the start of this video, but it's based on a lot of these things, right? Like if you look at Amazon, even on a short-term basis, look at this here with Amazon, right? If we measure, we see how we've had a bit of a channel through here, and then we had a break up with Amazon. If you're a short-term trader, right, you say, okay, cool. Look, measure from the high of the channel down to the low of the channel. When it breaks out, we're now likely to race to what? To the top of the channel. And even though this is a short-term basis here, if you started to see this breakout here after all this sideways, and it started to break out, guess what? You'll be saying, okay, now we have a very high probability chance of running to the upside, right? We go back to our daily chart. We've identified the channel. When we do start the break, all right, let's go back to the hourly chart. When we do start the break here, then that will say, okay, we're now breaking. Guess what? That tells us now we're now likely to run to the top of the channel because it's a channel projected target. Makes sense? So that it happens. I'm sharing with you examples of that recently already. I'm just sharing with you an example of how that's worked with Amazon. It's such a powerful trading technique, and it really is. Even if I look at Goldman Sachs, the exact same thing with Goldman Sachs, right? Look at this here. Look where Goldman Sachs is right now. It's probably going to break through. But if we're looking for a target of having a successful trader, there's the channel. Project that up. And look where it's likely to run to. When it starts to break above here and we start to move, guess what? We're now likely to run to the top of the channel. Now we've done that. We've had a bit of a pause. I think ultimately we're heading up to 270, but the first target for me was 250 based on what? Based on something simple as this channel projected target. When you see a channel and then it starts to break out, we have a very high probability of running to the upside through there. Make sense? So that's one thing I want to share with you there. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is why you don't need to know what's going to happen the very next candle, the very next day for you to make money with trading. And this is the biggest thing that stops traders from making money. They think they need to know what's going to happen the very next day for them to make money. And it's so wrong. See, what if I said to you, let me actually just bring this up through you, okay? What if I said to you, okay, there's a trading system out there that's going to give you a 90% success rate. All right, 90% success rate. Pretty awesome, right? You're like, fantastic, let's get involved with it. But what if I said to you, it has a 90% success rate of running on for profit within a week or two of you getting in, not the very next day? Meaning it could be the next day, it could be day 1, day 2, day 3 after you get in, or it could be a week later. But it has a 90% success rate of running on for profits. See, and this is something that it's so important to understand that when you're so emotional about your trading and up and down and up and down and up and down, it's going to cause this, right? When you have a system like I do, if you get in, just say we have a little up candle through here, right? And you get in here and then suddenly the next day does this and then the next day does this. Are you freaking out? Like, oh, I went long here. I bought call options here. The market's going against me. Maybe I should get out. I don't know. Here we are. There's a loss again. Like, hang on a minute. No. Okay, cool. Right? No. Let's be patient. Okay. 90% of the time, if we get in on a breakout based on the system and the plan, that even if it's doing that right now, within the next couple of weeks, we're likely to start doing this, and then it's going to run off for profits. What if I said that to you? But what most traders do, right, is they think, okay, I'm getting in here based on this trading setup, and the very next day it better run on for profit. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong. And if it goes down again, then I should be out. And if it goes down again, I should be out. Or here, this is where most traders go wrong, right? Because they think they need to be right to be rich. And what I mean by that is that they think they need to get in and they're trying to make money here. I'm telling you right now, like I've had a phenomenal month this month, and almost every single probably 80% of the trades that I've taken this month so far have done exactly this. In fact, I'll share with you a trade that I did recently. Actually, I got out of it today. And let me share this with you. And I'm going to share this trade with you because I want to share with you an example of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so let me bring up this one here with the moving averages and the volume. I'm going to bring up NK. All right, so this is the trade that happened just recently. Okay, look at this here. All right, so I saw this here. All right, big move up, sideways movement, and a very nice breakaway bar. Right, so I saw this, and this whole setup here. I was looking at the weekly chart as well too to see where it was at and support and resistance lines and all that sort of stuff as well too. I saw there's major resistance up there around 10. So I'm like, okay, cool. This setup here is a setup for me, right? So I'm going to get in on this trade. So I went long here because my system said so, right? So my system said I'm going to go long here, and my ultimate stop is down the low here. That's what my system says, right? So, but look what happened here. The very next day did what? The very next day did this. The very next day completely retraced pretty much 50% of the candle. But hang on a minute. Be patient. Sometimes you're going to get this thing, it's going to come down, and then it's going to keep continuing down, break the low, and you're going to have a loss, okay? But be patient, right? Be patient, be patient, be patient. And then the next day did this. Okay, cool. And then the next day did this. And as you can see, right, it just absolutely just shot off. This thing went up about 85% in a day. My options just went absolutely burko, like a couple of 100%. And it was just amazing, right? Amazing. But this was just another example for me personally to say, I don't need to know what's going to happen now. I don't need to know what's going to happen the next day. All I know is that majority of the time when I get into my setup, I know within a week or two, it's going to run on for profits. I may get into on a breakout bar and it does this for a week. And then suddenly the next week it runs on for profits. Traders are getting out here saying, oh, I knew this was a losing strategy. This thing sucks, blah, 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 right? And they go crazy because you think you need to know what's going to happen the next day for you to make money. And this is where you're going wrong with your trading, is that you're very emotional. You're getting in, getting out. And I'm not looking down on you guys. Like I've done that mistakes 1,000 times, right? Trading too much, getting in and getting out and all this sort of stuff. Instead of saying, here's the plan, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to have good risk management. So even if this is a loss, the losses are not going to hurt me. And so on and so forth. And so I wanted to share that with you because a lot of traders think they need to know what's going to happen the very next candle for you to make money. If I said to you 90% of the time, which happens, that within a week or two, within the first week or two, that trade will run on for some sort of a profit. It might be a small profit or it might be a very large profit like this one here, right? Like a couple 100% with the option there it is. Or even with the actual stock value, right? Stock value went up like 85%. It still went up 40% today from open to close. But that's the reason why, like, with my private clients, right, is that I'm getting so much success out of my private clients right now is because they're starting to really understand this one thing, which is not only do you need to be patient waiting for the setup. So you might not have a trade for a week. Heck, you might not have a trade for a whole month, but your job is to wait for the setup. Then when you're in the trade, you have good risk management where you be patient, right? So you need to be patient for the trade and patient in the trade and waiting for it to happen. But remember, guys, you always have your ultimate exit point, right? You always say, okay, for me personally, if it gets to the low of the bar, that's what I call my no story exit. My no story exit simply means that all through here, this is where I know that I have sort of my judgment to stay in or stay in or get out. But if it gets down to the absolute low of the bar, there is no reason, no story, there's nothing to tell me I should be in this. I should be out of this because the trade has failed and it's a losing trade. I just need to take it on the chin. And if you do that, and if you, especially with trading options, right, if you do that, that should only be around about, say, 30%, depending on the size of the bar. This is a big bar here, but say around about 30%, sometimes a bit more, but average, say, 20 to 30%. Should be a losing position there, and you just take the loss and move on. Makes sense? And that's the whole thing there. You just want to have this systematic approach of getting in and never trading based on what you think is going to happen. Well, I think this is going to happen. Like, as you know, right, like I get into trades, and I've shared some with you this week. I get into trades, sometimes they're like within 3 days, boom, I'm getting out of them. Because they just go bam, 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 right? They just take off like a rocket, pew, right? Phew, like a rocket. All right, so Tesla rocket. But then sometimes I know when I get into the trade, it's not going to do nothing. Heck, in fact, it's going to go against me for a little bit, and before it continues running off a profit. That's what's happened. I don't know what's going to happen. So me trading based on what I think is going to happen. So I'm expecting when I get into the trade 2 things. Well, either one, it's going to run on full profit the very next day, or secondly, the next day is not going to do much. I'm also expecting that sometimes when I get into these trades, that it may not do nothing for a few days or for a week, a few days for maybe 3 to 5 days for a week. And then maybe the second week, that's when it runs off for profits. And that's where the 90%er comes into it. Make sense, guys? So that's where getting the 90% for me has always been part of, or a very high win-loss ratio, has always been part of being patient in the trade. It's what causes you to take a very successful trading strategy and completely demolish it is do something like this. If you know that 70% of the time that the market's going to do this and the market is going to go sideways for a bit after you get in and then run on for profits, because you never know, right? But you get, your system says get in, but then literally half the time when this happens, you're freaking out because you're scared of having a losing trade, then it's going to ruin your results there. So I hope this makes sense, guys. This is stuff that I really talk about on a week by week basis with my coaching clients, and this is something that I really help them out with my coaching client, and stuff like that there. So I hope this helped you out, guys, and I'm looking forward to really helping you this year and teaching you not only the market updates, but teaching you chart reading and trading techniques, and also this other stuff that you might not think about. If you want to become a profitable trader, here is some of the foundational techniques that goes into helping you become a profitable trader.